Because of these merits, we chose parliamentary democracy. But after having worked with parliamentary democracy for more than 70 years, we had our own experiences that though among all the available forms of government, though democracy, parliamentary democracy is a better form, but it is not the best. But we don't have any alternative. We don't have a better form of government compared with the present parliamentary democracy. Of course, there are ills. Then what are the demerits of parliamentary democracy? We said, what did I say? What did I say? I said that parliamentary democracy was chosen in India for a number of advantages associated with parliamentary democracy. But now in India there were demands. There were demands for replacing parliamentary democracy with a presidential democracy. Starting with K.M. Munshi, who was a member of the Constituent Assembly. K.M. Munshi, he argued in favor of presidential democracy. Then subsequently R. Venkatraman, one of the presidents of India, he made an argument in favor of presidential democracy. In addition to this, in 1967, because of frequent defections from one political party to another political party, there was a lot of political instability, the frequent rise and fall of the governments, and that's the reason why in the 1970s there was a strong demand in favor of replacing parliamentary democracy with a presidential democracy. Even in the 1990s, we had an era of coalition governments, NDA, UPA, National Democratic Alliance, United Progressive Alliance. Atal Bihari Vajpayee lost power. He was compelled to resign because of withdrawal of the support by the regional political parties in the coalition governments. Once because of Mamata Banerjee and the second time because of Jayalalitha, he lost power. So 1990s we see the domination of coalition governments. So a number of political parties, they formed into one coalition called the NDA, National Democratic Alliance, and another coalition called the United Progressive Alliance. So because of internal dissensions, internal contradictions among these political parties which formed into a coalition, the stability of the governments got threatened in the 1990s in the era of coalition governments. And again that was one more opportune situation wherein there was a demand for replacing parliamentary democracy with a presidential democracy. And A.R. Antule and even Sanjay Gandhi, they favored replacing parliamentary democracy with presidential democracy. Then subsequently we had even Delhi Lawyers Conference also favored replacing parliamentary democracy with a presidential democracy, Even Atal Bihari Vajpayee favored presidential democracy rather than parliamentary democracy in India. Of late, in the recent past, Shashi Tharoor, an MP from Thiruvananthapuram representing Indian National Congress, was a staunch advocate of presidential democracy in India. Even Dr. Jayaprakash Narayan of Lok Satta wanted presidential democracy at least at the state level to impart greater stability to the executive branch. So in the context, in the backdrop of such demands for replacing parliamentary democracy with a presidential democracy, let us see the experience at the global level. In countries in Africa, in Asia, and even in Latin America, those democracies which were presidential democracies, in those countries, several countries went under dictatorship. And in those countries where there is a change from parliamentary democracy to presidential democracy, the situation instead of improving got further worsened. This is the experience. The experience says that In all those countries where there is a transition from parliamentary democracy to presidential democracy, the situation didn't improve. In fact, it got further worsened. In addition to this, in those countries which had presidential democracy in Africa, Asia and Latin America, countries with presidential democracy came under dictatorship. So the experience says parliamentary democracy is more desirable form of government, at least in the countries like India with lot of diversity. But what are the demerits? What are the demerits of parliamentary democracy which led to the demand for replacing parliamentary democracy with presidential democracy? One very big demerit is, I told, stability. Political instability. Political instability is one of the biggest demerit of parliamentary democracy. So many a times it so happens that the chief minister or the prime minister must concentrate much of his energies in enjoying the majority in the lower house. So if it is chief minister, MLAs, if it is prime minister, MPs. In the lower house, that is in the legislative assembly or at the union level in the Lok Sabha, the prime minister must keep an eye, the chief minister must keep an eye to see that he enjoys adequate support in the lower house. So if there is defection of MLAs from the political party in power to the opposition, from the political party in the power to the opposition, then the stability of the government is threatened. And India has witnessed a lot of political instability in the 1970s and 1980s. Even today, in some of the states, there was political instability. So political instability is the biggest demerit of parliamentary democracy, because the executive branch of the government will continue in power as long as it enjoys the support in the lower house. The moment it loses majority in the lower house, the government has to resign. And in India, despite anti-defection law being in place, the evil of political defections is continuing, because anti-defection law in India is not very strong and robust. So that's one of the biggest demerit. So in other words, we are not able to focus on the stability of the government. See, the prime minister or the chief minister, after assuming power, they were not able to focus on the policy, because they were continuously threatened and undermined by losing majority in the lower house. So that's why they are giving their more energies regarding maintaining the support, regarding getting the support in the lower house to the party in power. So this is not allowing the governments in power to focus much on development. That's one important argument. The second argument, because of this political instability, there was also problem of policy stability. I told, in a presidential democracy, the American president is elected for a fixed tenure of 4 years. So within 4 years, he cannot be removed by the American parliament with a no confidence motion. So for 4 years, there will be policy stability and continuity. But in India, because of the problem of political instability, there is also the problem of policy instability. In addition to this, I told, the evil of political defections for power from one political party to another political party was again the biggest problem in the parliamentary democracy in India. Ideally, it was said that parliamentary democracy works better in a two-party system. But in India, we had multiple political parties. That itself has become a problem. So at the union level, all the political parties must try to form into at least 2 major coalitions. That has happened in India to some extent. NDA got formed, UPA got formed. But in the state level, at the state level, there was no two-party system in most of the states. And even 2 major coalitions, all the political parties forming into 2 major coalitions also didn't happen. This is also threatening the stability of parliamentary democracy. So multiple political parties in India, both the national political parties and the regional political parties, will not create a conducive environment for the success of parliamentary democracy. parliamentary democracy. So these are the major demerits of parliamentary democracy, and that's why there is a demand for replacing parliamentary democracy with presidential democracy. Then what are the merits of presidential democracy? What are the merits of presidential democracy? As I have told you, the first merit of presidential democracy is a political stability. In a presidential democracy, there is a separation of executive and legislative branches. The executive will have a fixed tenure, legislature will have a fixed tenure. The executive cannot be removed by the legislature cannot be removed by the executive. So if India switches over to presidential democracy, political stability will be guaranteed. Political stability will be guaranteed. But in addition to this, if there is political stability and there will be policy stability. Policy stability. Policy stability. So stable policies, stability of the policies and continuing the policies will be possible. In addition to this, in a parliamentary democracy, the Prime Minister had a choice to choose the ministers only from the members of the parliament. He cannot choose experts from outside the parliament as his cabinet colleagues. But in the American system, which had a presidential democracy, the American president can choose his cabinet colleagues, and he must choose his cabinet colleagues from outside the American parliament. So there is a greater possibility for him to take the services of the experts, thereby improving the efficiency in the administration. So these are the possible merits of presidential democracy. But as I told you, we have more merits of parliamentary democracy than presidential democracy. So even today, there is a strong opinion. For example, in 1975, the then Indian National Congress government has appointed Swaran Singh Committee. So this committee, after having studied the implementation of parliamentary democracy in India, came to the conclusion that parliamentary democracy in India worked well for a long period and there was no need to replace parliamentary democracy with presidential democracy. And we can continue with the parliamentary democracy. Even C. Roy, one of the constitutional experts in India, also favored continuing parliamentary democracy. Even Professor S.R. Maheshwari strongly argued that in India we need to continue with parliamentary democracy, because in a country like India with a lot of diversity, we cannot invest very high power in one single individual that will create threats to the unity and integrity of India. That will create threats to, that will also result in a kind of a disappointment among the other groups of the people, creating some kind of a secessionist movements within the country. So that's the reason why we didn't want presidential democracy in India, and parliamentary democracy is much better suited. Despite all the ills, I don't say that the parliamentary democracy is the best form of government, but among the forms of governments which are available, it is the better form of government. There is no form of government which is better than parliamentary democracy. So in India, we need to continue with the parliamentary democracy, but certain corrections can be done. We can improve the existing system. It was also said, the demerits associated with the parliamentary democracy, they are of more human nature rather than institutional problems. So they can be addressed. For example, in India, the political stability of the governments is affected because of defections, the evil of political defections. We can further strengthen the anti-defection law. Now the biggest problem with the anti-defection law in India is, once an MLA or an MP defects from one political party to another political party, there is no time period within which the speaker or the chairman has to act on the petition for disqualification. The speaker belonging to a political party in power, the chairman belongs to the political party in power, and as a result, they don't take decisions within reasonable time, and they wait even sometimes till the tenure of the house gets over. And as a result, the anti-defection law in India is not very effective. That can be done. So we can make amendments to the existing anti-defection law and can see that this law works. And the second one, in the parliament as well as in the committee as well as in the state legislatures, the committee system can be further strengthened. Strengthening of parliamentary committees. Strengthening of parliamentary committees. So in India we already had a system of departmentally related parliamentary standing committees. So these committees, they exercise the scrutiny over the budget. They also exercise scrutiny over the bills introduced by the government in the parliament. But after the Narendra Modi government came to power, these departmentally related parliamentary standing committees were not given much importance, and this is a regressive. This is a bad precedent. The government must get back to giving importance to the departmentally related parliamentary standing committees, because they do extremely good work and play an important role in identifying the gaps in the government bills introduced in the parliament, and it gives a number of useful suggestions for improving the bill. So strengthening the parties, strengthening the committees. Strengthening the committees is one more idea. Then as I told, parliamentary democracy works better in a two-party system. But India doesn't have a two-party system. India has got multiple political parties. So what can be done is, in every state, the existing political parties, they shall form into two major coalitions, so that the political stability can be guaranteed. This has happened at the union level in the form of NDA and UPA. So unfortunately, since 2014, we had seen re-emergence of single party governments at the national level. But even then, even before, when we had a coalition governments, there was maturity on the part of, there was maturing of coalition governments. UPA government, NDA government. UPA government survived for 10 years, being a coalition government. Similarly, the earlier NDA government also survived for full tenure. So there is a maturing of these coalition of political parties, and there is increasing stability of the governments. The same can be done at the state level. And in addition to this, we can also introduce something called constructive no confidence motion. Constructive no confidence motion. What do you mean by constructive no confidence motion? A government which is in power, which has lost majority in the lower house, can be removed only when there is a possibility to form an alternative government. That is a constructive no confidence motion. So constructive no confidence motion says, a government which is already in power, which has lost majority in the lower house, can be removed only if there is a possibility to form an alternative government. Otherwise, it cannot be removed. And this can be tried in India. So that's it about parliamentary democracy in India. And India does need parliamentary democracy. Presidential democracy doesn't suit to the conditions of India. So even after 70 years of India's experience, the framers of the Indian Constitution and their wisdom was proved to be right, because even today we strongly believe that it is the parliamentary democracy which suits better to the Indian context and not presidential democracy. Parliamentary democracy has got more merits. The features of the parliamentary democracy, they are more suited to the Indian conditions rather than presidential democracy. So with this analysis, you can write any question in the exam. It can be even general essay or even a 10-marker question or a 15-marker question. This information is more than adequate for you to write any question on parliamentary democracy or presidential democracy, and you can write even a general essay in the general essay paper on parliamentary democracy versus presidential democracy. That's it. Thank you.